Earth is not an easy planet to be incarnated on, especially at this particular time in the history of humankind here on planet Earth. But your soul knew this. You volunteered to come here, to descend, to take on physical form here on this planet as the very ancient, very powerful spiritual being that you are, in order to stabilize the earth frequency, to be a beacon of light, guiding and leading others, and at the personal level, to experience this awakening, this remembrance of your true soul nature, because through forgetting and remembering who you truly are, that is the greatest way in which you lead by your example, by which you lead others closer home to their own true, authentic inner self. But what do we do when we begin to experience burnouts? Throughout this very intense transformational process of ascension, of spiritual awakening, it's nearly inevitable that at some point in time, you are simply going to be tired. And sometimes what this leads people to say is something like, I just want to feel normal, or I just want to be normal. And what they mean by that word normal is they are speaking to that part of themselves that we sometimes call the ego, that only remembers this one physical lifetime and that desperately wants to be loved, wants to be supported and validated by the tribe, by others. It's that tribal mentality literally programmed into our very DNA and genes as human beings. And it tells us that if we are not fitting in with the way others think we should be or think or live, then somehow we must be in the wrong. And very often we absorb this as a kind of self-judgments. And as we begin to go through this process of ego death, of ego deconstruction, we can find that our human self, our ego, begins to fight back, and it can be very tiring. It can cause us to feel a bit burnt out or worn down. So that is why I'm creating this podcast, because if you've been experiencing burnouts from your beautiful yet very intense process of spiritual awakening, I want to share with you 3 things to remember when you are experiencing this spiritual awakening burnouts. But first, be sure to subscribe to this channel. I would love if you could join our beautiful community of like-minded, conscious, creative beings here on YouTube. Also, leave me a comment under this video. Let me know, have you ever felt burnt out along your ascension process, along your spiritual awakening path? And what advice would you have to share with our beautiful community here for anyone who might be going through this themselves? The first thing to remember when you are experiencing a time of spiritual awakening burnouts is that everything has seasons. The wisest people of all ages have always looked to nature for guidance and for universal truth. And one of the greatest universal truths that nature shares with us is that everything moves in cycles and seasons. Nothing is in bloom the entire year, all of the time. Everything has a season and a cycle. And specifically, when it comes to planting something in the earth, we have the vision of what we want to grow. But for a while, that vision is only a seed, and perhaps we are the only one who is aware that seed even exists and is even planted in the earth. And perhaps we are the only ones going to that seed every day, watering it, believing in it, knowing that one day it will sprout above the earth and be that visible, manifested evidence that other people can see. And you and your vision, who you are becoming, is like that seed. And this isn't something you experience once, but over and over again through life. As someone who is spiritually awakening, you will feel over and over that you are planting a seed for some new version of yourself you are trying to become, for some new business venture or idea or something you are working to manifest into creation. And others may doubt the existence or the potential of that seed, but you understand the laws of nature, and you know that when something is planted in your hearts and nurtured and cultivated and believed in, it will eventually spring above the earth and be that full-blown manifested reality that everyone else can see. So very often, part of why we experience this burnouts, these feelings of fatigue, is because we are, as these very advanced spiritual beings, working with the energetics of the universe, because we have evolved to the point as souls where we see far beyond the physical reality, where we realize that most of our work isn't physical, it's actually energetic. And even when we are working in the physical and taking those physical action steps, it's actually the energy behind those actions that is making everything come together, that is bringing that vision to life. And because most people don't understand this around us and are living from a much lower level of consciousness, we can get burnt out simply by feeling as though we are kind of straddling these two worlds here. On the one side, we are around a lot of people and a lot of very strong societal belief systems that tell us that this physical world is all that there is. And on the other side of it, we are hearing the intuition of our soul speak to us more loudly than ever before. And at times, it can become overwhelming to sort all of this out. But just know that whatever vision you hold, whatever you've planted in your hearts, it will grow, or else it wouldn't have been given to you as a vision to begin with. The second thing to remember when you are experiencing spiritual awakening burnouts is that your soul didn't come here to fall in line, to fit in with everyone around you. You came here, in fact, you volunteered to come here to be a leader, to show a different way, to show a different path. Metaphorically, we could think of it like seeing a crowd of people walk down a very well-worn path, headed in a direction that they don't really want to go, but they don't believe there's any other way. You are the one cutting that path through the forest of life, showing that other way, walking it first. For many of you, you are walking that path first for a generation. You are creating a new pathway, not just for collective consciousness, but for your own children, for future generations to come. And we would call you a generational curse breaker. But know that when you are someone cutting that path through the forest, this requires a greater exertion of efforts and energy than most people who are walking this very well-worn path. So this is why you can become tired or burnt out at times. It's simply because you are exerting more energy, forging this beautiful new path for yourself, for your children, and even to inspire other people around you, which again is requiring you to exert more force, more efforts than most people are exerting, which may be why you are feeling more burnt out than others. This is why also, as someone who is a very ancient, powerful spiritual being, it is so essential for you not to get involved or caught up in the games of comparison in the 3D, because what someone else appears to be doing action-wise, or how much they appear to be doing, or how happy or energized they appear to be in the physical world, is not necessarily an indication of what's really going on energetically. This is why it's really important that if we are feeling self-judgment because we find ourselves seeming to be more easily fatigued or burnt out by others, it is so important to exercise self-love, self-care, and to know that we are on this very rare and unique spiritual path, which may, because of its uniqueness, have with it special requirements for greater levels of physical rest, which really brings me into the third thing to remember when you are experiencing spiritual burnouts is that if you are feeling physically or mentally drained or tired, know that your body and even your mind, your brain, all of this physical working being that you are is in essence a vessel for the powerful, intense spiritual energy flowing through you. So at times, you may find yourself extremely intuitive, extremely passion-fueled and creative. And at other times, because you are, again, exerting more spiritual efforts and energy through this process of awakening and transformation, you may also find that your physical vessel can get a little bit worn down at times, but know that just like a really nice vehicle requires a different level of care and maintenance, you are that thing, that vessel of great value and great purpose that may simply require periods of rest different from those around you. So know that these feelings of burnout may be speaking to you, may be trying to call your attention to something that needs maintenance in your mind or in your physical body. So really have the level of self-love for yourself to allow yourself the time and the space and the investment in self that you need to keep your body and mind feeling rested, healthy, and in a good functioning state of being, which again can take a different amount of time or energy than others around you. And to really assist you with this daily self-care practice, especially with daily energy clearing, I've created a 7-chakra energy clearing subliminal meditation. This is actually the exact subliminal that I personally meditate with every single day. And I do this because I find that it really deeply clears my energy field on a daily basis. So listening to this daily will really help you to clear out some of these feelings of fatigue and drain and burnout, to reconnect you with your most high vibrational state of being, bringing you more consistent energy, clarity, and passion in your life, and really assisting you on your awakening journey or your ascension path. So this subliminal comes from my website, soundandsoulful.com. So as you can see on the screen, on this website, I have created over 100 subliminals for all areas of life. And subliminals are really powerful for deeply reprogramming your subconscious mind, because unlike traditional spoken affirmations, They contain unconscious affirmations embedded within other meditation sounds and frequencies so that they are able to bypass the conscious filter of your minds and to make deeper, more lasting impressions on the subconscious, which is so perfect for energy clearing because our energy field is directly reflected in the subconscious thoughts, belief patterns, and ideas that become stored in the unconscious mind. So again, the link to this 7-chakra clearing subliminal is in the pinned comment and description box under this video. You can try it out completely free for 7 days by creating a free trial account on my website. And again, all of that information is below. Now, I know I said we were only going to share 3 things in this video, but the last thing I do want to say is that you are the light, you are a beacon, and darkness doesn't like the presence of light because light is authentic and open and vulnerable and illuminating. And by becoming more and more of who you truly are at the soul level, you are having this illumination effect on other people around you. You are essentially both inspiring them to their highest version of self, but also more brightly illuminating any parts of themselves that is holding back from that highest state of being or existence. But don't dim your light to make the darkness more comfortable. I really hope this podcast was helpful for you or provided you with a little bit of reassurance or guidance. Do be sure to subscribe if you haven't yet to join our beautiful community of like-minded, conscious, creative beings here on YouTube. Have a beautiful, wonderful rest of your day, and I will talk to you again in the next podcast.